Hello, I'm Mrs. Kaplowitz, and in this third video from Chapter 4, I will be discussing whole grains and products made from whole grains versus refined or enriched grains. First, let's take a look at a generic wheat kernel. It is made up of 4 parts, 3 of which are edible. The outer layer, called the husk, is inedible and is removed and used as feed for animals. The next layer is the bran. This is where all the fiber is located. The largest portion of the kernel is the endosperm. I like to think of this as the meat of a kernel. It is made up mostly of starch. And in the innermost part, the smallest portion of the kernel is the germ. This is where the vitamins are, and it is what is needed for the kernel to germinate or reproduce. Here is another image of a wheat kernel. It can be found in the textbook for your reference. So let's talk about a wheat kernel and turning it into the foods that we eat. The kernel is ground into a flour, but not all flours are made the same. When the entire edible part of the kernel is used, this is what is used to make a whole grain product, like a whole grain bread, for example, or a whole grain pasta. If only the endosperm is used, this is known as a refined grain product. This is the flour that most people are familiar with. It is the all-purpose type flour, and it is soft and velvety, compared to a whole wheat flour, which is grainier and has more texture. You can actually see and feel the difference in the 2 types of flours. So when products were first made with refined flour, many people started to suffer from vitamin deficiencies. So it was decided that vitamins needed to be added back to the product and is known as the Enrichment Act of 1942. An amendment was made in 1996 to include folate, which can help prevent neural tube defects. We'll talk more about this in Chapter 7. I find it sort of silly to add something that is naturally there, especially when the whole grain product is superior to a refined or enriched product, as you can see in this slide here. And in this figure, the bread that is made with whole grain flour has more nutrients than products made with enriched or unenriched flour. Unenriched means they did not add the nutrients back. So, are you ready to make the change? Of course, products made with whole grains have more health benefits, as seen here on this slide. But should everything we eat be a product made from whole grains? The recommendation is to try to make at least half of your products whole grains and watch out for high amounts of added sugars, sodium, and saturated fat in cereals. In this slide, you can see 3 bread labels. These can also be found in the textbook for further review. Personally, I would not choose any of these. I don't like all of the added sugar and all of the other added junk. So, many students asked which bread would I choose? This is the bread I choose. I buy it at Specs, and there are many different varieties and another brand to choose from. It's a very dense bread. It's a little bit sour, but I like the taste, and 1 slice offers me 6 grams of fiber. That's a really great way to start my day along with my eggs and my oatmeal. 2 thumbs up. That's all for this segment. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I leave you in good health.